Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ben's Camera Show. Although, having looked at the stats and the YouTube feedback from all of you, I should rephrase that to say, welcome, gentlemen, and welcome to the Ben's Camera Show. For some reason, 98.9% of you are men, and 1.1% women, and I didn't mean it to be this way. I'm not exclusionary or anything. I only am here to talk about cameras and Super 8 and stuff, and gender doesn't come into it. I'm open to all, as long as you like cameras. That's all they're about. So yes, let's try and bump that up to at least 60-40. If you know a woman, then tell her, who likes cameras and stuff, then tell her I'm here. So that sounds like I'm trying to weasel my way into some horrific date situation, but no, I'm happily married to my cameras, that is. Anyway, hello everyone, and welcome to the show. As you can see, it takes me a little while just to limber up and get into it. Firstly, unfortunately, Bill Rogers has a sore throat, so he will not be able to join us tonight. But he's been rebooked for November 12th, and we will be looking forward to seeing him then. But until then, I've got some questions from last week from you lovely people who've been sending in me all sorts of queries, and they're getting more and more kind of obscure, these queries. You think I'm some kind of Yoda, but really I can only just go to Wikipedia and look up the answers to most of these. Anyway, I'll be going through some of those. If you've got questions for this week, by all means write them in the YouTube chat. And since Bill isn't here, I've going to try something new this week. This might be the first and the only time that I do this, and I'm going to throw the Zoom room open to all comers and just see who drops in, see if you want to talk about cameras. Please don't show me your private parts. I have my finger hovering right over the disconnect button if any of you are going to try anything silly. After all, this is Ben's Camera Show, and who has his finger on the button but me? So with that in mind, class, take your seats, because we're going to talk about Agfa tonight. Agfa. Now, Agfa are a German company that made film and cameras since 1867. When I look down, it's because I'm looking at my notes here. Agfa started off in 1867. Agfa is an acronym. It stands for Aktiengesellschaft für Anleihenfabrikation, which actually makes AGAF if you read it like that. Never mind. Agfa is much more catchy. They merged with Gewert in 1964. They started making Super 8 film in 1974. They stopped making it in 1996. And they are now making imaging systems for all sorts of applications, including like hospitals and stuff like that. So there was a little period in their history I've just glossed over. And that was, well, in 1936, I don't know if any of you are history buffs or anything, but there's a fellow went by the name of Goebbels, Joseph Goebbels, and he was in charge of the propaganda and stuff, and he watched a lot of American propaganda. He noticed that Kodak were supplying color film for all the movie studios and for all the all the sort of the US government films and everything. And he went to his boss, a man whose name I will not dignify here, but Goebbels went to his boss and he said, "Hitler, we need some color film in the cinemas. We got to show those Yanks that we're as good as them, and color film would be much better way to get across to the masses how wonderful our country is." And Hitler said, "Make it so," in German. He didn't do that, but he did something similar. And so Agfa started making color film. And in fact, I've got some of the very first propaganda film that was ever made. It was to coincide with the 1936 Olympics in Berlin. They made a film all about Berlin. Let's whoops. Okay. Let's have a look. And this will be a good way to ease us into Agfa, because of course we're here to talk about the film stock and the cameras, not about shall we say mid-20th century history. So here's some bits of the film about Berlin, showing some people dancing, very nice. And you see the film stock, it's got a kind of a slightly muted color. It might be because of its age, or it might be just that Agfa look. But get used to this, because we're seeing a lot of Agfa film stock tonight. This is a non-Kodak night. And, oh goodness me, look at that. All having just a brilliant time of it. Damn, that beer looks good. It looks really cold. You can see the frost on the outside of it. Anyway, so it's got this kind of like slightly muted, desaturated look. I mean, it's got reds, greens, and blues and everything. But yeah, that's Agfa film. That's the earliest Agfa color film stock we got right there. Dancing away. Yeah. The reds come out nice there, and the browns there, quite faithful. I guess I wasn't there. And there's a lot more brown shirts and a tram, obviously running on time. This is funny. This is hilarious. Look at that guy in the background going up the steps. He realizes not only are they changing the guard, but someone's filming it as well, and he just sort of freezes in mid posture. And he thinks, "Shit, I better not show disrespect by walking inside while this important goose stepping is going on." So that he's just standing there for a bit. Maybe the director told him to go there. And off they go. And off he goes into the ministry, probably to denounce someone. Anyway, so let's get back onto Agfa film. So 1939, it started to get used in German cinema. And let's jump forward a few years. Why not? To the first Agfa Super 8 stock. Okay, yeah, enough of that. Oh yeah, and here's a photo. This is quite a nice picture of the Agfa color scheme. It's kind of like, red and green, and the blues are kind of a bit muted. I think the Kodak had the really good cyan back in the day. Anyway, okay, so Agfa Super 8. What have we got now? This is what we've got these days. This is the earliest one. This is the called the Harlequin design box. I don't know who else calls it that. Maybe just me. Anyway, it's called Agfa Chrome. It was called Agfa Chrome, made between 1974 and 1982. Lovely design. I love that one. That's for the sound cut on the other side. Oh crap! I can't move it. But that sound box has got, there it is. Look at that. It's got that amazing sound. Yeah, I like that. Anyway, so that stuff, if you try and use it today, I've been warned it's not very good. If you get hold of some of that. That was, yeah, they stopped making that in 82. And they went on to make the red box. So you see it in the middle. There we go. Agfa Movie Chrome between 82 and 1990. They changed the design a couple of times. I'm not going to go into it. Just in the mid-80s, there was a different box with a white strip. You don't need to know. So it went Harlequin, then red, and finally white. Agfa Movie Chrome. And they made that between 1990 and 1996. Oh, let's see if you can get this on eBay. And if so, how much it costs. I've had enough on the big screen. Let me move over to my little box now. Okay, here we go. Agfa. How much for a thing of Agfa these days? Let's have a look on the eBay. And let's see. Well, this one starts at 99p. 2 cartridges, that's with an Hexachrome, 6 for £50, so a bit less than £10 there. Someone's selling 2 for £25, no bids, yeah, right, because that's like £12.50 each, plus £3.10 postage. 4 for £40, so yeah, you're looking at a similar price to Kodachrome 40. Unlike Kodachrome 40, Agfa, you still have an outside chance of being able to process it in color. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, so even if it's those muted colors, then you can still develop it in color. So that leads us very nicely into what have I been doing this week? Well, I've been shooting some Agfa film on some Agfa cameras, and I've been developing it in color, or should I say trying to develop it in color. So let's have a look. This is the box that that it comes in. Comes with this lovely envelope. You write the address of the lab on that side, and you write your own home address on the other side. One time, the box just came straight back to me. Now look at this lovely lovely cartridge wrapper here. That lovely silver wrap. Silver stuff, amazing. Yeah, I like that better than the it's like space age. So like I said, this is the 1980s stock, this one. This is let's see, Ben Reynolds says they still make surveillance / speed camera film. Okay, fair enough. You got instructions in 8 different languages, and there's the Agfa service, Deer Park Road. Now that sounds familiar. I seem to remember 1089. There, it expired in 1989. I seem to remember sending my Kodak to Deer Park Road. Now there's me putting it inside an Agfa camera. What Agfa camera could this be? Well, I will bring it out in a second to show you. But firstly, this camera needed a light piece, a light meter battery. I got this little battery holder thing, so you can, which steps down the voltage a bit. So you can put an easily findable battery into the light meter. So the light meter, in theory, works. But before I do anything, look what I'm doing here. I'm making a little dot on the film near the top between those 2 perfs, and then I'm putting it into the camera, running it for a second or so. And if all goes well, and it is actually pulling the film down like it should be, then yes, let's have a look. Yep, it's gone. That means that it has wound the film on, and it means I've got a cartridge that I can shoot on. Hooray! So off I went, and I did some shooting on this film, on this camera. But before I show you what I shot, let's look at the camera itself. Let's get some music on for this. I realized I had the music on all the time before, but anyway. Gentlemen, I present the Microflex 200. When it came out, it was the smallest Super 8 camera available. The smallest one ever when it came out. It is literally can fit in, well, almost in the palm of my hand, which for a Super 8 camera is not bad at all. This was made in 1970, I think it's 1972 or so. It has a zoom, it has a focus, it has two settings here, which is on with automatic metering, or let's focus ourselves a bit better on this. There we go. Okay, so on with automatic metering, or the plus is opens up the thing one more stop. So so that's basically all the control you have over the iris is to if you want some backlight backlight correction. Right, you open it up, pressing this, and as you can see, the film compartment takes up pretty much half the size of the camera. I say as you can see, but of course I went and defocused it. So your cartridge goes in, you close it, you look through there, and you start filming with this button on the top. Now I have made a film about this. If you go elsewhere on my YouTube later, you'll be able to watch it. I've gone in depth about this camera. It's here the motor. Yes, I still don't have another setup. There we go. Yeah, it works. The Agfa Microflex 200. They made others in the Microflex range. Minolta also used almost exactly the same design. In fact, I think it was like one of those deals where they made a camera for Minolta and they used the Microflex design for it, and that was sold in the US. God knows what the contracts and what the arrangement was with Minolta. But yeah, look some of these up. And they're very nice and very compact, and have a look at my film as well that I made all about the I think it's called Small But Beautiful, the Microflex 200. Let's see a bit of footage that I shot before on the Microflex. It's so tiny that there we go. I'm going to take myself off the picture because it tends to make the playback stutter. That was shot on the West Highland Way in Scotland. And well, it's difficult to get a bad shot there, but it did all right. It did all right, the Microflex. Unfortunately, I discovered that when you zoom in, it goes out of focus, which is obviously an issue with this particular camera. This was shot on Eastman Ektachrome 7240, also known as VNF film. There, you see that? It's all. That would have been such a great shot of those deer. Ugh. Ah, well, what are you going to do? And then that's with some Fomapan. Yeah, some Fomapan with the Microflex. It's okay. It's not, you know, it's not an amazing quality, but it's a tiny lens. And the main thing about it is that it is very, very portable. Oh, and that's some 200T in it. So it's so portable that, ironically, I end up going to some of the most amazing places using that camera because it fits in my pocket. So I get some of the most scenic shots of ever shot on Super 8 on this tiny little, not amazingly good quality, but very compact camera. But what are you going to do? That's the Microflex. So anyway, what happened when I did my shooting this week? Well, let me take you through it. So firstly, that's what I used for test strips. I did a test strip like a good boy. I made a test strip. That is a thermos flask. I also made a film about that. In fact, here's a clip from the film. I clipped those things. Obviously, this is all done in complete darkness. And yeah, I attached this wing nut as a weight to one end of this film. Don't forget about the fact that that's standard 8 film. Its principle's the same. And then, also in darkness, I lower the film bit by bit over the minutes, counting the minutes as I go. I lower it into the thermos flask. I use a thermos flask because the developer needs to be quite hot. 38 degrees, I think I did this at. And every couple of minutes, so every 3 minutes, I moved it up. 3 minutes and then moved it up, which meant that a little bit more film went in for 3 minutes, a little bit more film went in for 3 minutes. And then I took the film out and also still inside the bag, put it into this, which is a mixture of water and vinegar for a stop bath. Now remember that, that's very important. So the stop bath, and then I did the whole developing using that Patterson tank. It was just a test strip at this point. And what were the results of that? Well, okay, yeah, no, that's the changing bag with a kind of a framework inside. I did everything in, and that is the cat. That did not help one iota. Lay there on the floor on its lazy ass, just looking at me every now and then. Anyway, so that the film came out, the test strip came out like this, and that was at 3 minutes. It came out all purple because you're not supposed to develop it in ECN2, but I did it anyway because that's all I've got. So as you can see on the right hand side, that's been in the developer for longer, and in the middle here we've got a little pan here. So that's been in the developer for a long time, and then in the that's like about 12 minutes, and then in 6 minutes, and then 3 minutes. And it looks to me like 3 minutes is the one. So I put all of the film into oh, here's that when it's been scanned, and yeah, so we're looking at like 15 minutes, 12 minutes, 6 minutes, 3 minutes. Yeah, Adrian Cousins suggested pulling it to 2 minutes actually. And of course he was right. So here's what came off the film after I did a pre-soak, and this nasty piss-colored water. That was some of the film that was just you know, not some of the film. And here's the remjet. Here's the disgusting remjet which came off in huge great flakes afterwards. That's some of the rags I used to wipe the remjet off. Now again, it came out very purpley. But I thought, never mind, I'll try a bit of color correction. It worked with the test strip. But this, okay, that's how it's supposed to look after 3 minutes. And this is how it turned out. Unfortunately, I think it took my Lomo tank a bit too long to drain out. So everything's got this orange cast. It looks like Blade Runner 2045 or whatever, 2048. So yeah, I guess I screwed up pretty bad with that one. So that's Agfa Chrome 40, which yeah, was sitting in its cart for 34 years, and then I came along and turned it into monochrome. Yeah, nice going. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, luckily I only shot half of it, so I've got a chance with the other half, which I've put into one of these, the Katsuyama Super 8 reloadable cartridge. And so the reloadable, that's just the spindle that I stick it around. So that's the way I get it around the spindle. And then yeah, so I've got a chance with the rest of it. I might not screw up the second half, and I will report back to you, my viewers, and I will get. I'll do a much better job with the next one. Maybe I'll use a stop bath. That was what I did last time, which I didn't do. Like an idiot. Anyway, let's see some Agfa Chrome that was, whoops, not that. Let's see some Agfa Chrome which was developed, from about the same vintage, that was sent to the lab in about 1986. And this is how it came back. This is of a holiday that I went on with my family to China. And 1986, so interesting footage coming up. But firstly, I'll just... I'll freeze the frame in a second. To show you all this nasty kind of like mold or whatever the hell that is. Yeah, let's freeze frame that. A lot of that is on this film, so get used to it. It might be washable. Maybe I can get it cleaned and properly scanned. This was on a Wolverine. Anyway, so yes, this is what it was like to fly to China in 1986. And look at this. They let us in the cockpit. File this under stuff you can't do anymore. If you ask nicely back in the day, and you've got like some younger brothers and sisters. Actually, this was my younger brother's idea to ask if we can have a look in the cockpit. And he's got a pilot license now. Go figure. So yes, China. 1986 China. I believe it hasn't changed at all since then. They still got bikes, and the traffic is not too bad really outside Beijing. Seeing as my kids probably will never go to China, the way things look, I'm just going to show them this film and tell them this is what it's like, and then I'll tell them to look it up in the Encyclopedia Britannica. That's Tiananmen Square. Tiananmen Square, where 3 years later nothing whatsoever happened. The Forbidden City. And oh my god, look at that geeky bastard. Yes, that's me with a microphone that turned out to be not working. And my god, I'm so glad it didn't work, that microphone, because whatever I was spewing out of my mouth there was probably utter fatuous nonsense. Ah, a panda at last. A panda. Now I have a whole load of this footage. I've got about an hour's worth. I'm only showing you a couple of edited highlights. But this is all out like Agfa. Look at that. That's a nice shot. I like that one. This is Agfa, developed straight away by Agfa in 1986. And yeah, it's not too bad. It was a good contender for Kodachrome, really, back in the day. It didn't all look like that old German stuff. This was the new German stuff. And yeah, it's still slightly different to Kodachrome, but it's got decent colors. And it was the cheaper alternative. It was only about £6 for a cartridge of Agfa, but it was like £9 for a cartridge of Kodak. That's nice. Look at that. I should put some music on this. Well, it's a bit late now. I should put some, some of that Chinese style music, but I've only got this. Wow. Yeah. So that's Agfa in 1986. And that was China in 1986. I believe they even still had steam engines back then. Amazing. Amazing. Right. Where are we? We're halfway through. And we've done the development disaster. We've done the Microflex. Now we're ready for a camera. A proper Agfa camera. Let me take a drink first. Lovely. Right. This is going to be worth it. In fact, whoops. This camera, let me get some music. This deserves some music. Rubbish, that music. I'm going to change that. There we go. Right. I'm going to show you a camera which I bought in about 2001, 2002, and I used it all the way until about 2013. I filmed my kids growing up with this thing. This is a camera to show off. This is a show-off camera. It is the Agfa Movie Zoom 2000. But not just movie zoom. Movie zoom. It's so futuristic. The year 2000, when this came out, came out in 1974 or something. When this came out, it was so futuristic. The year 2000 was all they could think of when they gave this a name. They said, no. Well, should we call it the 200? No. 2000, because this is the camera of the future. It is the most amazingly styled camera I've ever owned. Talk about cameras that will turn heads in the street. This will get you pulled over in security every single time you go through any kind of airport checkpoint or security X-ray, and this is in your bag. You will get pulled over, and you will have to educate the person there as to what Super 8 is as a format, what these cameras are like why they look the way they do, the fact that you can't open the back because it will expose the film. Then you have to explain to them what film is, and basically you have to pull the trigger a few times just to show them that all it does is, oh crap, it's not switched on. It's got a single frame, so you can just go See, no one's in any harm whatsoever, Governor. One time, a guy, he said, "What's this?" Brought it out of my bag, you know, the X-ray, and I started into my spiel, and then his eyes glazed over, and then suddenly he went, "Oh, old school." I said, yeah, old school. He said, "Oh yeah, fine, all right," and waved me on. So yeah, that's the secret word, everyone. Old school. Just you know, if you buy a movie, I don't know if it's movie zoom or just for the sake of my poor epiglottis, I'm going to just call it movie zoom and not movie zoom every time. Okay, let's go through it. It's the oh, some amazing some quotes coming through through on the chat. Ben, yes, the movie zoom's got everyone excited. I'll reply to those in a minute. Let's go through the camera first. It's a hell of a camera. Okay, firstly, this I'm going to just zoom up a bit. So I'm not zooming it. Focus a little bit closer so you can see this. It's got this amazing integrated zoom and focus knob. So on the outside, if you turn that, that's the zoom, and on the inside is the focus. A brilliant idea, because with one hand you can do everything, and your hand isn't fiddling around on the front of the lens like with so many of these cameras. It's just clinically, okay, zoom to here, focus to here, I'm ready, boom. This is a remote switch, so you can activate it remotely or even with a intervalometer. This, so it says trick, is in fact just run lock. I don't know why they call it trick, but if you start running, oops, if you start the motor, the engine, if you start the motor running and then go to trick, it stays on. No particular reason for that. Anyway, okay, it's got your speed selectors, 18 frames a second, 24 frames a second, and single frame 1. So 18, 24. And here, you've got this collection of very strange symbols here. They're not that strange, but A is on with automatic metering. 0 is off. If you move to there, it doesn't stay there, but if you move to there and the battery is okay, it's a battery check. A green light comes on in the viewfinder. And plus is to run with backlight correction, i.e. it opens up the iris one stop. Now I have a little film. It's really difficult to see inside this thing, but one of the nicest things about this camera is that it has an extremely clear and light viewfinder. In fact, as you notice, it doesn't even have a rubber suction cup because it doesn't need one. If you just get your eye close enough to there, you'll see a nice big field of vision inside there. And I went and filmed that beforehand. Here we go. Yeah, it took a couple of goes to get it right. But oh yeah, and that when it's running, see that here we go. When it's running, see that thing at the top there, that circle with that wiggly line. That's to show you that the film is actually running through the gate at that time, that the motor is running. Anyway, that's what it looks like inside the eyepiece with the f-stops below there. It shows you what f-stop it's chosen. I think it's opened up completely wide, which makes a bit of sense. And the film, it's a back loader as well. If you squeeze this, it opens up, and you can get, there we go, straight in there, and it loads from the rear. And there's nothing on this side. It's just brushed steel, which is bloody lovely, I've got to say. Oh yeah, finally. It has, of course, motorized zoom, motorized, you know, which works. Amazing. It worked. A lot of these Super 8 cameras, that's not working. And finally, on top, a very easy sun filter to engage it and disengage it. That's all there is, just that. The one problem with this camera, the one issue I have with it, is that there is no manual iris control, and there's not even a auto lock like the EE lock that the Canons have. Very annoying, which means that you are at the mercy of this camera's this camera's automatic metering, which means that it's very difficult to expose modern stocks like Kodak 500T in it, or expired stocks like the Agfa Chrome. The only choice you have is to go up like that. Oh, I completely forgot to put where is it? Movie Zoom 2000. There we go, in the top. Let's see how much these cost. Let's see. I mean, for goodness sake, even if you get a broken one, they're really heavy and really well made, and they're just great to just to carry around and point at police. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, so how much can you get a movie zoom for? Unfortunately, people know that these things are good. Someone sold one for £120 there. Another one here went for £30. I think that's what I paid for it in 2000. And as you can see, Agfa made other cameras. They made other movie zooms. There's Movie Zoom 10 MOS, Movie Zoom, all these other movie zooms, many of which have oops. Oh, sorry, my Zoom meeting just finished. No one was on anyway. So yeah, many of these movie zooms had actually the manual aperture, unlike these ones, which, let's face it, were all about the looks and the styling. So that's the Movie Zoom 2000. Now, I have neglected my my chat, my people writing all sorts of things in. So let's see what you've all got to say for yourselves. Petko Lordanov says, your Agfa from those days looked really good. Most of the one I watched that was shot and processed in the 70s, 80s have by now turned very magenta colors. Yeah. Well, that has happened, yes. I mean, maybe it's because I packed it. I watched it once, got motion sickness, and then packed it away in a tight box for the next 34 years or so. John Oates said, you'd be shot dead by the police if you pull that out. Yeah. Well, you know what? If you're wearing a Star Trek outfit, then they'd probably give you a pass. Because, I mean, that's what most people say when they see this. They say, is that a radar gun? No, it's a bloody tricorder from Star Trek. It's a phaser, you ignorant fool. Let's see some good footage. Let's see some, I mean, I've already tipped my hat. Let's see some footage shot on the Movie Zoom 2000. Oh my goodness, it looks good. I'm already telling you that. Here we go. This was shot at a workshop I did. Here I am. Yeah, it's a workshop I did at the Institute of Making a couple of years ago. And this was shot by my students. And as you can see, it's got, I'll go away. It's got an amazing lens on it, this thing. It's just, everything is lovely and pin sharp. Of course, the developing slightly ropey, but it was all done in low. Didn't know what they were doing. Oh, I'm echoing. Sorry about that. I forgot there's music to this. Oh my goodness. Probably didn't hear any of that. Anyway, so yeah, looks really nice. The Movie Zoom. I mean, Agfa, gotta say, those Germans, they make such bloody good cameras. Yeah, so I can definitely recommend the Agfa cameras. And the Agfa stock, well, you know, I had a bit of a disaster, but hey, you know, give it a shot. You might get lucky. And next thing I'm going to do is develop it in only like 2 minutes, and then use a stop bar. I've already said that. Right. Okay. Now at yeah. Sorry, Ben Reynolds. You probably yes. All right. Yes. Sorry about all that. Yes, the music. I forgot there was music on that track. I wasn't saying anything important anyway. That picture is great. It is a damn good picture. Now, what have we got next? Your comments from last week. Let's go back onto that's the history of Agfa. We've done that. Let's just put the eBay off. There we go. And put me... right. Comments from last week. Like I said, sometimes it takes me a week. It takes me a week to get to the comments and the questions. Del G says, I have some Agfa Movie Chrome sound film expired at 84. Any thoughts? Well, Del G, I hope you're watching now because I've given all sorts of thoughts. And Agfa Movie Chrome, yeah. I mean, officially you're supposed to develop it in E6. Or no, you're not supposed to develop in E6. People have been developing it in E6 to try and get a reversal, and I think they've come up with some success. I just do it in negative developer. Oh God, what? 38 degrees, 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes, no, maybe 2 minutes and a half. And on ECN2. How about Chris? The chat about towel says low temp E6. I don't know. You better Google it. I don't know what I'm talking about there. Manuel Salazar said, "Thank you so much for listing all the ingredients and measurements." Oh, that was in reference to last week's Kodachrome. You're welcome, and I will continue to do so because Ben's camera show is all about the quality. In fact, there we go. Any experience with Oricon cameras and optical sound shooting? No. But I wish I had experience with that because optical sound looks really cool. If anyone wants to send me an Oricon, then go ahead. Have you had experience with pre-striped standard 8 sound film? No, again, no, I haven't. And I don't have a camera that would shoot it anyway. I think I'll keep my standard 8. I'll record the sound separately. And finally, the same guy said, get some of that. I hope to get that good a result with my standard 8 Kodachrome pre-stripe roll. I'm going to try and develop. Is there any reason for reading last week's questions this week, seeing as that most of them are all about Kodak? Not really. I'm going to show you something. This is what you do when you are unlucky enough to have a camera like that Movie Zoom, which unfortunately won't let you adjust its aperture. Let's get the slideshow on here. Benjamin Marriott says the 2000 is a mix between a Star Trek prop weapon and an early portable speed camera. Love it. Yeah, it's amazing. Now, here is the cartridge that I put the rest of that Agfa Chrome 40 into. Unfortunately, the cartridge has a it's in green, so it's the cartridge. I've started at the end, haven't I? Okay, so that's the cartridge I put it into. It has a piece of tape over there, and I'm going to show you why. If you get some old Super 8 cartridges and put them all together, put them in a stack, and put them all up the right way. Here's another one. Some of you who are aficionados will know what I'm about to show everyone. Right. Now, this is the face of all the cartridges. Notice that these notches here are of different widths. See, that one's a kind of a narrow one. That one's a wide one. That one's a bit less wide. That one sort of looks like it snapped. That's another narrow one. Those tell the camera what ASA the film is that you're putting it into. So as you can see, the low ASA, the 40 ASA ones, have got narrow notches. There's one's got a narrow notch. Let's put the compare a 40 ASA to a 200 ASA. There, see, 40, 200. Now, when I put that 40 ASA Agfa film into this Katsushima, the Katsushima had quite a large notch. So I had to put some tape over it to tell the camera that it's actually a low ASA cartridge. Now what you can do, you can go online and you can download something that was a very, very helpful chart and printout that was made by Friedman Wachsmuth. Hope I pronounced your name right, Friedman. This guy is like a Yoda of Super 8. He's like the guy. He made these things, which you can download and print out. And they are really, really useful. Because this one you put inside your camera, which I'll show you in a minute, and it tells you what kind of stocks that camera can meter. And this one you put your cartridge next to, and it tells you what ASA your cartridge is set for. So you line it up there, and you look at all these. Let's get the focus on this because this is actually worth it. If you look up, I think it's called Super 8 Notch Reader. There. So you see how it's hard to see, but you see which of these lines here are exposed by the notch in your Super 8 cartridge, and then you look at the one right on the right hand side, follow the line, and it says 100. So this is 100 ASA film, and so on with this is 200. I know it's 200 because it says so on the actual cartridge. And if I line it up with Mr. Wachsmuth's diagram, well, the closest it can get is 160, but that's close enough. 160, between 160 and 250. So yes, that's a 200. I guess you should just like Google this stuff. So the thing about this is that this one you line up with your camera, and then you use this flow chart to work out how your camera can meter. So let's get a camera. Hold. Please hold. Here's a camera I'm going to be featuring in a couple of weeks. This is sneak preview here. This is the mighty Canon 814 XLS, but don't look too hard at it because we're going to be featuring it in depth later. But look what the XLS has. Let's get some light in there. Okay. I know we've strayed away from the whole Agfa thing, but without a guest this week, we're going to have extra learning time. So you can't see it the way, but see there's that. There we go. Where the light is hitting. See that row of buttons, that little row of switches up there. This is a beauty. This can meter everything. So you put this into the camera, and you see which of these things it lines up, and then you look it up and it tells you. There you go. There's a whole row of buttons there, meaning it can meter all sorts of stocks. Like I said, the problem with the movie zoom is that it just has one button, and that one button is to tell the camera whether you're shooting 40 ASA or 160. Those are about the only options with this. But hey, you know, match up. There we go. There's the button there. You can see it on the top, to the left, or above and to the left of the film gate. There it is. Oh, horrible view. There's that little button there. See, there's two. Anyway, that gets pushed in, tells the camera that you're shooting 40 ASA, not 160, and everyone's happy. Or rather, you're happy unless you're shooting expired film, in which case you might be in trouble. Don't say I didn't warn you, people. Right. Now, are we going to open this Zoom room? Is anyone out there going to come on Zoom and ask me any questions? Well, might as well try it. I better tell you all that everyone, I think, is automatically muted when they come in. So I'm going to put a link in the YouTube chat. God, I'm going to regret this. And I am going to check the participants list and see if anyone is coming in. And whoa, someone's here already. Jonathan Oates. Oh, he made a nice comment earlier. I'm sure he's kosher. Okay. Jonathan Oates is connecting to audio and can't hear you yet. Hello, Jonathan? Or John? Ah, now he's connected to audio. Hello? Oh, God, it's all going sideways. We're not connected somehow. That's... Ah, here he is. Hello, Jonathan. Can you hear me? I don't think you can hear me. Hello? Hello, Jonathan? I think he's just watching the show.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. I hadn't got my audio turned on.
Ah, right. Hello. This is our first phone-in.
Oh, excellent.
Thanks for watching. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's the first of your live streams that I've seen. So
cool.
Quite exciting, actually.
Oh, well, is there anything I've touched on which you'd like to discuss or ask about?
There's a bit of feedback and delay.
But, I think you have to turn the sound off on your YouTube. If you've got YouTube running, there'll be a lag.
Yeah, I'll close the YouTube window there temporarily. I'm going to have to go shortly. I'm afraid, because I've got another meeting. But the one thing I was going to ask you is about black and white reversal processing. Yes. What's your current favorite bleach recipe? I'm
using the same bleach I've always used, which is potassium permanganate and sodium bisulfate.
Okay. Yeah.
And I mix them together, make half a liter of each. Dissolve half a liter of water with the potassium permanganate, and then again half a liter dissolve the bisulfate in it, and then mix the two liquids together.
Yeah.
Because if you put it all in 1 liter of water, it won't dissolve very easily.
Right. Yeah.
And I only put it in for about 3 minutes or so. I used to do 4 minutes, and I found that the emulsion was starting to crack at about 4 minutes. And at 5 minutes, the emulsion's peeling off. So you've really got to be careful with your timings.
Right. Okay.
Which stock are you developing?
I'm playing around with Fomapan.
Oh yeah. Yeah, lovely stuff.
So far, I haven't had much success with developing it as a negative.
No, it's difficult to develop as a negative. Oops, got an invasion of.
That's my cat. Sorry about that.
Hello, Martin Nichols.
Hello, I am Del G, by the way.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
I saw you on the chat.
Just wanted to say, well done. I'm very much enjoying it.
Oh, great. Thank you.
I'm not one of these. I don't have the capacity or the patience or the intelligence to be able to develop my own stuff. So I send it away. But I'm a very keen Super 8ist.
Excellent. Where do you send it?
I send it to this lovely place called Mutascan in Finland. So I send it to Helsinki, and they get it back in a couple of weeks, and send me the scanned files as per via Dropbox or something like that, and then the films come back by FedEx.
And they do like color negative and Ektachrome and black and white and all of those?
For everything, and they've developed Standard 8 and Super 8 for me, and they're very good. So, for example, the first lot of films I gave them, they scanned. I can't remember now whether it was all of them or one of them for free, and then as a loyal customer, very kindly gave me a roll of their own branded 50D Standard 8 film as a loyal customer. So they've secured my custom. Sorry, my cat's getting in the way again. Sorry about that. Right, okay.
Well, how much do they charge for a roll of, say, color negative?
I can't remember the exact price, but I did a comparison, and it's roughly equivalent to what Gauge do. I don't know. As an anti-Brexiteer, I loved your film, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've made me laugh, and I've shown it to people, and I think it's great. So I feel good about sending it to Finland, which seems like a uniquely sane country, and makes me feel a bit more European. And like I say, the price is about the same as Gauge, who I didn't, for some reason, find out about until after I started sending it to Mutascan.
Oh, John Oates says, sorry, has to leave now, but looking forward to the next show. John, sorry, sorry, Martin. I was halfway through answering John's query about developing Fomapan as a negative. And if you're still watching, if you're still listening, John, you have to bleach it either way. Even if whether a negative or reversal, you're going to have to bleach it because it's got this layer of silver, which is very difficult to see through. And Mufi asked, could you give us the proportions for that? That's my bleach. I will, Mufi. In if I can do it this show, I will. Anyway, Martin, what's your favorite stock to shoot? Are you a color or a black and white person?
Well, I mean, I've only just recently got into it. So black and white Fomapan I used in my old Quartz 5 Standard 8 camera, and that was really loved that. We shot on Ektachrome, that's really sweet. But now, just basically Vision 3, I think, and Tri-X. And I'm trying to think up plans for a film about the current situation that we all find ourselves in. But I can't think of anything. So I spend most of my days thinking about plots and scenes and stuff like that.
Can I suggest going for a bike ride? That's where the ideas seem to come to me.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's cool.
Anyway, Martin, thank you very much for dropping in.
You're very welcome.
And everyone else who's made comments, we're gearing up towards the end, and this time I'm going to succeed in showing some live Super 8 film. And it's it's not Agfa, it's Kodak this time.
Actually, can I? Yeah. Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah. No, Martin.
No. Well, the Agfa stuff that you showed was amazing. Colors in it were amazing, and the sharpness of definition. And I used some old Agfa Chrome back in the day in the 80s, and it seemed much grainier than your stuff. It was Agfa 40, I think, Agfa Chrome 40. And I seem to remember last week.
Do you mean the one the footage in China?
Yeah. It seemed sharp, but also the black and white stuff that you shot in the with the students was. Yeah.
Well, the camera I used in China wasn't Agfa camera. That was a Canon 310 XLS, which was my childhood camera from the age of 13 to about the age of 18. It was a very
but the
colors are excellent. Yeah, apart from the weird kind of moldy looking stuff on it, which might just be removable with water. But that was Agfa. Well, I know exactly. It was 1986 that I went there, and the film was quite fresh. I brought it from Lee's Cameras. They actually tried to screw me out of several boxes. It was a long story, but they thought, oh no, I don't want to disparage Lee's Cameras. They were like the last ones in town, practically the last Super 8 shop. But they had a guy working there who took a dislike to me and accused me of lying to him, and it was a really horrible situation. And I was leaving the next day, and I was nearly in tears. I was like this, 15-year-old geeky boy trying to get some stock, and they were being really shitty to me. Anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Can I just ask, because that was what you said, that was back in the 80s, that footage that you shot. And I think you said something last week which resonated with me, which is that you did filming then back in the 80s, and then there's been this long gap. Well, that's my story. I mean, I last made a film in like 1984 and then restarted to do it again this year because I thought, hey, that'd be great fun.
Well,
is that the same thing?
Yeah, no, I restarted because someone gave me a whole load of Svema Super 8 that was in little cans. It wasn't in cartridges. It was loose as in a core. And then I got hold of one of these things, one of these reloadable Russian things.
Oh,
and about that same time, I discovered that you can develop in coffee. And I started a YouTube channel just to sort of document my process, mainly for myself, so I could refer back to it. Instead of keeping notes, I was just documenting it all on YouTube. And then I found myself suddenly riding this wave of the Super 8 sort of analog resurgence. People were buying records and record players, and then people rediscovered Super 8 who used it back in the day. And then, of course, a lot of younger people who don't even know what a video camera is, suddenly got into Super 8. Maybe via a Super 8 filter on their phones or something.
Right.
So,
there is something incredibly special about the quality of film. That's what fascinates me, the look of it. I just very seductive and beautiful in a way that digital just isn't. And I'm just fascinated by why that would be. And I know you said something last week about dynamic range, and I've looked into that and blah, 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 blah. But I still feel there's some mystery to be cracked about why film is so cool.
Yeah, I unfortunately I blew that guy off a bit with the dynamic range, go look it up answer.
Yes.
And that was a friend of mine. He called me up later and really, really read me the riot act, saying that my answer was woefully inadequate.
Right.
The video I was referring to was made by a guy called Paul Shillito, a YouTube channel called Curious Droid. And if you look up Curious Droid, NASA cameras, he made an amazing film all about the different film cameras that NASA used and continue to use, and why they still shoot rocket launches on film. It is about dynamic range. And then the guy who asked the question turned around and answered it himself. And he said, dynamic range is how far can you push the shadows of a image before you start blowing out the highlights.
Yeah.
And apparently that's the dynamic range, like how much, information is in there. And the Kodak Vision stocks have got an amazing range. Like I can nearly screw up the developing and then rescue it afterwards in color correction.
Yeah, me too.
Thank God for color correction.
Yeah. So at the moment I've got. Sorry, I don't want to go on. I'll just say
no, go on. No, I've got all evening.
The stuff that's being developed, even as we speak, and should arrive back hopefully on the day of the American election, is 500T. Because I've just bought this Bewley 4008, which I'm very excited about.
Oh, nice.
And that only goes up to 400 ASA. And obviously I set the dial to 400 ASA and filmed accordingly. But I'm assuming that the footage will therefore be, would it be either over or under? A tiny bit
overexposed, but
I'm pretty sure.
If it's 500 ASA, you have nothing to worry about.
Well,
I've shot 500 ASA in broad daylight and sunny weather practically, and stopped down, and it worked fine.
Well, we'll see. The proof of the pudding will be when it.
It's a good idea to get a light meter app on your phone just to get like a second opinion.
Yeah,
you can get free ones. I do a lot of metering externally.
Yeah, no, I've got a free one, and I was reassured that the thanks to Bjorn's
Bjorn Nansen. I was just going to say you're not far from him. If you're sending a film to Finland, you can send your film to your camera to Bjorn.
Yeah, but I noticed that the free aperture exposure meter on my phone was registering exactly the same as the Bewley. So I thought, oh right, okay, fine, we're on the same page. Anyway, I'll shut up.
Okay,
you've got films.
Yeah. Let's watch some film. Someone else just dropped in. All right, thank you, Martin.
Hi.
Hang on a minute. Let's unpin Martin. Hello, Sam Davison.
Hello. Hi.
Hello. Welcome to the camera show.
Yeah, hi. Glad to be here. This is the first time I've watched one of your live streams, but I've been a watcher of your channel for like probably a while now, year and a half, 2 years.
Thank you. We're I've almost hit 5,000 subscribers, which I know awesome. It's not PewDiePie numbers, but I'm very happy with that.
Yeah. I don't have any particular questions, but I was working on some projects related to film recently. For a while, I've been wanting to design a better spiral tank for developing film because Lomos are kind of expensive, as you know. And a guy I was working with this summer made one for Super 8, which I had printed through a service online. I haven't actually tried it with film yet. I loaded. He also made a spacer so that you can do it with 8 or 16 millimeter, and nice. I tried it with that, and that actually worked pretty well. But just yesterday, I tried to. I've been also trying to make a 100-foot version, so you don't have to split it up into 250-foot pieces. Mm-hmm. And this is the 100-foot version. Yeah. The printers that I have to work with aren't really very good, but like I don't know if you can see on here.
Is that made with a CNC machine or a 3D printer, like a additive?
Yeah, these are 3D printed.
Right. And it can go all the way down to the grooves. Can print.
Yeah, it's not at least on the town that I'm in. We have a makerspace in town that I'm a member at, and they have some 3D printers, but they're not very good. Like you can see up here, probably some of the grooves kind of just melted together.
Oh, okay. But, so do you hand finish it?
Kind of. Like this was literally just yesterday. Okay. So it's very much a work in progress. But
and are you going to make a tank to put it in?
At some point, maybe. This is too big to fit in like a paper tray if you're doing it open in a dark room. I wanted to make it small enough that you could fit it into like a 5-gallon bucket. And this is still a little bit big for that, but eventually maybe we might get there.
Wow, well that's brilliant. It's brilliant that I love it that people are taking this old format, which has a reputation for being retro, and then they're applying all sorts of 21st century technologies to making it better.
Yeah,
that is that's cool. Excellent. Like 3D printing, video tap. People are working ways of getting little video assist into the camera's eyepiece, and so they can watch on a monitor. And there's all sorts of great technologies that people are bringing to the fore now, which is really helping to revitalize the medium.
For sure.
Anyway, thanks for showing us that, Sam.
Yeah,
that's
you.
Brilliant, and good luck to you with that. I mean, if you can come up with a workable 3D printing pattern and share it, then people could be printing their tanks all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. Great. Okay, well, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for watching all the films. And I'm glad that you like the live shows. It's been great fun for me. Oops, I think I muted him. Oh no, or maybe he muted himself. Anyway, bye Sam.
Muted myself. See ya.
Okay. Bye. Well, that was great. That was not one of those nice gentlemen swore or showed their private parts or anything that I was worried that would happen. Right, it's time to watch the live film. Yay! Now, the first time I did this, the bulb broke. The second time, the sound went because it was my fault. And this time, everything's going to run well. I've got a good feeling about it this time. So what we're going to do now is go into the screening room. Put me in the corner. Put the rubbish cam. There we go. That's the projector we're using tonight, the Sankyo Sound 702. I got a new bulb for it, so it's going to be lovely and bright. I have to turn a few lights off, so bear with me. Just put some music on while I get the screening room ready. Okay. Right. Start that again. So, right, what we've got tonight is some more holiday footage from when I was a teenager. And this was a trip to New York in, I think, 1987. And it's not on Agfa, it's on Kodachrome. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to switch the DSLR on. Okay. Thanks for bearing with us. New York, everyone. Okay, let's try that again. New York, everyone. (1986) New York. Thank you, Agfa 310. No, it's the Canon filming this. Yeah, where I'm filming from. Oh my God, you'll see in a sec. Yep, I went there. Oops. Oh no, what? Jeez, now what have I done? I've screwed it again. It's when I put my own camera on. Here we go. There we go. All right. See, I'm never giving up here. Let's get that over there. It's going to be in a weird oblique angle. I don't care because I want to end this show. And there we go. All right, let's run it. Oh God. There we go. No, that looks even worse now. No, it's not happening tonight. Once again, I have screwed up the film at the end. I think this is going to just become a running joke here, really. It's the credits have got. There we go. Some music. And the music's gone off as well. Thank you, everyone, for coming to Ben's Camera Show. I'm really sorry again about all that screw up. You saw a little bit of the World Trade Center. I had a lot more of it. I'll show it next week. One of these days, I'm just gonna sit back and I'm gonna put a put a video on of not a video. I'm just going to put a film on and show every film that I messed up showing before, and we're going to watch them all because there's a lot to get through. Anyway, Yusef Khan says we got one of the best side seats in the cinema. Yes. Oh God, it looks awful. So maybe I can do something with the exposure there. Okay, let's see those bands. That's what happens when you don't you have a frame rate mismatch. Anyway, listen, thanks to everyone for tuning in. I'll be back next week. I've got a couple of amazing things hooked up for the next couple of weeks. We're going to do one all about special effects. We're going to have Bill Rogers back on the 12th. We're going to talk about the highest end Super 8 Canon cameras ever made. That's right. We're going to be looking at the really good stuff. And next week, I don't know. I'll see what I think. I got through a lot of stuff. So I want to thank Joseph Goebbels for coming up with Agfa film. How many thank you people actually do that? There was the WTC there. Oh yeah. Here's to the heroes of 9/11 and screw Joseph Goebbels. I don't care that he got Agfa to come up with color film. It wasn't worth it for all the stuff that he ended up filming on it. But I'm glad that they carried on into the 90s so we could use it for good purposes. The lovely Statue of Liberty there. Anyway, good night, everyone. It's been a bit hectic, but it's been great. And I'm glad it's all done now. I'm going to finish my gimlet. Start spreading the news.